Hi everyone, my name is Victoria Oliver, and I'm doing these videos to shine some light on a situation that recently took place with me when I moved to California. I'm originally from Ohio. Just to give you a little bit of background, I'm a vet, and wow, I'm a vet, and outside of that, I used to do contract work. Prior to moving to California, I was enrolled in school for psychology. I took a leave of absence, a 3-month leave of absence to kind of execute the move. So I moved the middle of February as I'm traveling across country. My original arrangement did not fall into place. My original arrangement was to rent a master bedroom in someone's mansion. That did not fall through. So when I first got there, I had to live in a hotel for, I don't know, maybe a week before I got a hold of Alice and Andrew. Now, I met both of them on Craigslist. Although I reached out to multiple sources, that wasn't the only way I searched. Those were the two that responded to me the quickest. Okay. I ended up staying with Alice, going with her out of the two. But that stay was brief. Andrew's ad encompassed just about everything the way I view the world. Very non-conventional, before the people, that sort of thing. The ad was for running scripts. You'd be running scripts in exchange for room and board. Sound like a pretty good deal. Although I didn't want to go with a man, I reached out anyhow because preferably I wanted to, connect with other women. But because it was a dual package, I figured why not? So I reached out to Andrew. Over the course of 3 days, me and Andrew spoke about life, views, and the type of people that he worked for. Life, views, and the type of people that he worked for. Nothing more, nothing less. I never met Andrew in person. Our conversation ended abruptly when he called me on a cell phone that he said he did not have the number to. That was an issue for me. We both agreed to end the conversation and just end any further communication. I have a recording of what Andrew's voice sounds like, just in case anyone else has ran into this ad, but I'll probably have to crop it from another video and add it in because this whole ordeal has been almost impossible in terms of editing videos and stuff like that. It's been almost impossible, but I will find that clip of his voice or that recording of his voice and add it in. So, like I said, I ended up going with Alice. That didn't work out either due to some coding issues. So I decided, I stayed there for, I don't know, a day or so, and then decided that I'd rather stay in a hotel until I found something better. So I go. Actually, a friend of mine, I met with Abbas, which is family. It's necessary. I'm going to be including a whole lot of information in these videos that I really would rather not tell you at all, simply because the type of people that I'm dealing with will use it against me. So I think it's necessary for me to know right off bat, although I had to live the hotel life for roughly 3 weeks while all this stuff was going on, there was never one man in my room. And I would only be seeing around 4 people. That was Alice, which is a an older Hispanic woman, her and her husband, her neighbor, Raul, which is an older Hispanic man, Abbas, which is an older, I want to, not Russian, he's going to kill me for this, not Russian, but I want to get it right, something similar. Actually, it's probably more along the lines of Arabic. Abbas family, older man, roughly 70 years old. Those four people, I consider Alice and her husband a pair. And then there's a melanin female by the name of Marthel. And she's in the real estate. I connected with her when I first got out there. She's an older woman as well. Those were the only four people you would have ever saw me with or around. And my time with them was limited as well. All right, got that out the way. So, ended up going and staying at a hotel. I connected with my friend or my family, Abbas, when I decided that I wasn't going to stay with Alice. And he said, you know what, Victoria, you're looking to save money. You know, I got this perfect place for you. He says it doesn't have TV and stuff like that, all the modern, bells and whistles, but it'll work. He said you can, focus on your everything. It'll be what you need. I said, okay, that sounds like a good idea. Show me where it's at. So it's the Maryland Hotel in downtown Glendale. Maryland Hotel in downtown Glendale. I checked in there the 2nd and stayed to the 9th. Now, my experience while there was the weirdest. It was weird for a couple of reasons. It was weird because I noticed that after I ended my conversation or communication with Andrew, I started being followed. Probably, let's see. I want to say I identified him on the 4th or the 5th. One of those nights, it would have been a little red vehicle sitting outside the hotel with a albino male in it, wearing glasses, probably mid-40s, curly white hair. And then, like I said, I checked out on the 9th. The morning of the 9th, roughly around 2 or 3 a.m. I want to make sure I'm clear about this. The sheets on the bed pressed up against my thigh. There's no one there. There's nothing there. There's nothing there but the sheets pressed. The sheets themselves pressed up against my thigh. I hope I'm conveying that right, because I just want to make sure I'm clear with that. So it was an experience like none other. I've never had a paranormal, so to speak, experience. But leading up to that, I did complain about my neighbor. This is weird. I complained about my neighbor to the woman at the front desk about loud music in the middle of the night. Loud music in the middle of the night. She tells me that's no, that can't be him, because an older man stays next to you. An older man stays next to you, and there's no way that could be. So she stuck around one night. She hung out to see if, the claim was true. And of course, that night it didn't take place until later on. So it just occurred a couple hours later than it would have normally occurred. But on top of the loud music, what I didn't mention to her was the voices. it was hard to tell if who was truly over there. I'd hear him leave in the morning, and it was clear he was alone, but there'd be conversation afterwards. There was conversation afterwards, after this man had clearly left and went wherever for hours at a time. I didn't pay that. It was an observation, but I didn't see it as a problem, just an observation. I'm more concerned about who's following me. So, like I said, I checked out on the 9th. When I checked out on the 9th, in between then, while I'm there at this hotel, I never even connected to their Wi-Fi. I didn't connect to their Wi-Fi the entire time I was there. When I go out to eat, I connect to Wi-Fi wherever I was. That's how I did research and found the next place that I was going to stay, because that place really wasn't working for me. Like I said, it was everything about that week was uncomfortable. I was right by the elevator. Just very, very, very strange. It was just a very strange experience for me. So I decided to go out to Victorville. I found a place that had like it was newly renovated, or an old place that had been renovated for a decent price. Really nice setup. So that's where I decided to go. I went to Victorville. Day 1, a young man walks by my door. He's talking to the guy that's staying next to me. He walks by and he says, "She has on a black thong and she's not doing anything but count her blessings." Yeah, she's not doing anything but count her blessings. I am stretched across the bed, reading the Bible. And it was strange, but I tried to look over it, because there was no way he could see in. It's not like my blinds were open or a window was open, or there was no way he could see in. So yes, that was weird. And I'm one of those people, I don't watch much television. So most of the times wherever I'm at is really quiet. I'm listening to everything that's going on around me. Not purposefully, just because I like peace. That's my idea of peace. I meditate, and I just like a quiet, comfortable space. The next day, I hear you can tell there's a group of individuals outside the door. Not literally outside of my door, but it's actually the door on the opposite side this time. So they're at the guy that's on my left and not my right. And they're snickering and, talking and not in necessarily a bad way, but in a sneaky way, like they were doing something they had no business doing. So I started paying attention to the conversation and noticed that they were reciting some of this hole is really bothering me. Oh my God. But anyhow, I'm so sorry about that. But they started reciting some of my personal information, like my birthday, stuff like that. And that's when I realized, I'm like, oh, they've hacked into, this is the first time I've connected to anything since I've been out here. And that quick. They're in and they're going through pictures and papers, and because there's nothing I've been off the scene for a long time. So, I mean, it's not like they had much to look at. Family videos, personal videos that I would send to a family member or a friend. Pictures, tons of pictures, because I'm dope and I do dope shit. Stuff like that. School papers, life plans, all types of stuff. So I get up and I get dressed to go and confront the situation. But by then those guys were gone. So I go up to the front desk and ask them would they be able to pull the surveillance. Like I said, I'm giving all the details of this because that's the only way this is going to make sense. I get up there. The young man at the desk played the role. And he told me that he couldn't check surveillance until the next day. Not even him, that his boss would have to check it the next day. But he was just so unconcerned about it all. He didn't think that it was a problem that this was going on and this was taking place there. So when I got with the manager the next morning, I asked him, was he back brief on the situation that took place last night? And I gave him the time that he could find it on surveillance. And he said he hadn't gotten around to it, but he did hear about it and he'd give me a call as soon as he could. I never did hear from him. Another day went by. I called in. Well, that day went by. I called in and followed up with him. Still nothing. So by now, and I told him then, that I was going to be making a police report about it. Because you can't just hack into my stuff and think that it's going to be okay. You can't invade my privacy and think that it's going to be okay. So I tell him that I just wanted to, have him review it so we could kind of identify who it was prior to me calling the police. Like I said, he really wasn't cooperative. I ended up going ahead and filing my police report anyhow on Sunday, which would have been the 12th. Yeah, the 12th. When I called to make a police report, the sheriffs showed up. They actually came by because I told them, I'm like, oh, something I forgot to mention. Those guys, I overheard them. That was weird. My camera just did some weird stuff. But I overheard them talking about an app. He was sharing it with some of the other guys because that's supposedly how they're able to see into the room. This is what he's saying anyhow. It's an app. They're able to see into the room through an app. So I'm telling the sheriffs this or whatever because, like I said, I had that weird encounter. You can't explain that. There's no reason why anyone should know what I'm doing behind closed doors. So they come out and they check. They, go through the whole room and check everything out. They come up with nothing. Give me a report number and wish me well. Anyhow, to make a long story short, just in terms of this location, to make a long story short, when I went here, I paid up front for 21 days because I said, surely in 21 days, I'll find something better, something solid, and, all will be well. I ended up staying there a week. And within that week, I had to change cell phones twice, tablets once, and change my number twice. Because every time I got something new, it got to a point where I wasn't even connecting. Not via Bluetooth, no Wi-Fi. And they were in. They could get in. Because now I'm at a point where I'm documenting what's going on because the people upstairs are now an issue. Okay. I'm going to have to retract that last statement about making it short because I do have to go into this just a little bit deeper. Okay. The people upstairs, the guy upstairs, he was involved with the hacking of my devices. There's a couple of regulars that stayed at this place. He was one of the regulars. Once the rumor circulated that I was going to be calling the cops regarding this matter, it turned into an issue. He came home, his girlfriend told him, and he threw a fit. Fuck that such and such, this, that, any other, blah, blah, blah. That was the day he found out, which is that next day. Same day I talked to the manager, he comes home from work. I got highlighter all over me. Comes home from work or wherever. He got fired too. Oh my God. Anyhow, comes home, goes off. The next day, this is the day I actually make the report. He comes home and he's really mad now because his girlfriend told him that the cops were out there going through the room and stuff like that. So now he's really going mad. It's a real issue. So they're doing all types of stuff, saying all types of things. That next day, after the report was made, he comes home talking about, oh yeah, I reached out to her brother. Oh yeah? Paying close attention. And I can't run into these people because whenever I come outside, they're never outside. And I guess back then I was obeying the rules of not knocking on doors. But that ended real quick. So he claims he had a talk with my brother and that he gave him all this ill-mannered dirt. I'm sitting here like I know good and well the guy that hacked into my stuff was not able to call my brother, and he had the nerve. But you never know, because our relationship was not, it is not the best. So, a week. So now they're starting to be able, like I said, I got to a point where I started documenting what was going on. And they know my location in this room. If I'm over at the kitchenette, if I'm cooking, if I'm over at the door, if I'm at the window, in the bathroom, wherever I was in this room, they knew my location. I can hear them reciting where I was. Odd, right? Very odd. So anyhow, I didn't pay it any mind. Well, I paid that plenty of mind. That was a big issue for me. So anyhow, there's a couple other things that happened. But yeah, I ended up having to make another police report. And when it came to getting these individuals or this guy and his girlfriend identified, it was a problem. And it didn't come out until later on. It was probably, I don't know, a week and a half later when it came out. And it was, the manager kind of kept blowing me off. All to say that he was blowing me off and lying. First of all, when I came back with the sheriff the third time, he told me that no one, all the way up until then, they were lying, saying that no one was even staying above me. Then it came out. He said, oh, well, no, that, it's kind of like not on the books. That's a friend of mine. That's the whole reason he didn't want to give the name up.